TGIF Warriors. How's everyone doing today? Hope everyone had a decent week. Hello, Alexander and Jamie and Bran. How are you? There's Blake. Hi, Patrick. Paul Penman. Ryan's here. Oh, great. Hey, guys, a team.
Hey, mate.
And
Good morning.
Amira, I hope you're okay there in Jerusalem, buddy. And hi, Bran. Good. All right, great. So, team, before we get to the currencies, and you have to admit that Euro has been pretty stubborn. Risk off. I talked about yesterday that we had to start seeing some acceleration to the downside in the S&Ps, and that happened yesterday. They're trying to bounce it now. But the market has had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 2 weeks worth of trading to get long against the 4,200 level. I believe that there's at least one stop loss order under that. And I just want to.
Just one? Is it yours?
No, it's not mine. It's not mine. But I also wanted to say that I really did have one of my best weeks of forecasting. I talked about the right shoulder developing, talked about this in here, that there could be a right shoulder in NVIDIA. And even Monday at the close on Real Vision, NVIDIA was a preferred short. And the other one was, can anyone guess? Tesla. So I talked about these here. Maybe some of you guys took a flyer at some puts. I'm now going back to just being a host because I can't top this week. So tell me what I should be doing in here, Ryan.
Well, mate, if you've made as much profit as it looks like you have, you should be sitting on your hands and going down the pub.
All right. Well,
instead, you're the true pro, and you're here to guide all your sheep.
Well, it's only 5. It's only 5. So there aren't any pubs open yet. But, anyway, do you agree that the euro? I mean, you've been toughing it out on the long side of the euro, Ryan. When it didn't look like where I'm sure you had some doubts, but doesn't faith? Isn't that an ingredient in trading? Because you go from belief to doubt, and things that keep you in the trade is the faith in your ability to, know when it's going to be right to get out, and that you're not going to get out because it's not going your way. It hasn't violated an area that it would have to. So, I mean, isn't there a degree of faith? Because what takes us out of, I know, even my wife said, Dale, what did you do? Second guess yourself again? All right. So, we all at times second guess. So I think it takes a great deal of faith to be a trader. How about you, Blake?
Faith?
Yeah, or belief
in yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it
in
doesn't
yourself.
Have to be,
what
in something.
Well, I mean, that's why everybody becomes a religious trader. No, I mean, look, when you God, please, God, just let this one trade work out for me. First of all, Dale, I gotta say some great calls this week. Really good job. And what it really boils down to is, when you sit in front of the screens for, let's call it 12 hours a day or 14 hours a day or whatever it is, for years, I mean, you become very confident in your ability to recognize certain patterns and certain things that develop in the market. And, it's your way of looking at it. And you're like, I've seen this story before, so many times, and I know how it plays out. So when you do that, as a trader. That's why experience does matter. People always jump in the markets, they want shortcuts, right? That's the that is like the number one thing. And I've been dealing with, for literally since we got purchased by the Wise Trade Group in 2003, and I joined them in 2001 when the transaction finally was complete. And so I've been, since 2001 ish, maybe even just slightly before that, 2001, I've dealt a lot with retail traders, and everybody looks for when they come in, they look for some sort of, secret sauce. Yeah. And really what it boils down to is time in front of the screens and experience. And that's why, when you speak to experienced people like our team, you got Ryan, who's been doing this for nearly 3 decades, Kman for 4 decades, you, Dale, for a couple
centuries.
Yeah, a couple centuries. And then, and then you just got everybody here that's been in front of their screens so long. We know, and we have a good sense of what's going to happen, but that doesn't mean we're going to be right. But that's where our confidence comes from. That's why I can go, look, I'm going to be, I'm going to take a stab right here, and here's the reasons why. Yeah. And I've seen this play out before. Yeah. And I'm very confident in conviction, the ability of it. Yeah. I have a lot of conviction, and that's why when our team, specifically, like, if you're in the ForexAnalytix chat room and I'll be like, hey, I'm only, a quarter size here in my position because I have no conviction. But when you hear traders that have been doing this a long time going, I am full on short the Aussie Swiss this week, which I am, and the New Zealand yen, which I am, and I've got full size positions there. I have conviction because I've been down these roads before. So, and you have that, Dale, and it's really important that traders understand, like, the experience level that we have, behind us. And that's what makes a good trader.
If you can go back to that euro dollar chart, Dale, sure. You asked me the question, in the euro about faith. A question
to you too, Ryan. Ryan, I didn't take you as a religious dude.
You remember this one. If you zoom out a bit, where was my faith? My faith wasn't in this part, in these October moves. My faith was before we even got to 105.
Yeah, left.
That was, if you remember, you look at a weekly chart, we highlighted the 105 level, huge level. And you've got to give them a go when you get that. So I traded that first bounce, 105. Then I got stopped out in the move to 104.50, and I got back in, and the last test of 105. Your faith is you plot this stuff on your charts. There are some levels that are bigger than others. You've got to trade them. So it's not really faith. It's the price action. The price action has done the faith for me. It went down to 104.50. It bounced. It held 105 again. That's my faith, trusting the price action that the levels that I'm looking at are going to hold.
But it takes recognition for key levels. Okay. It takes, like Blake was talking about, the experience, the screen time that it takes to
recognize the pattern. That pattern there could be a 15-minute chart. It could be a 5-minute chart. It could be a weekly chart. It doesn't matter. The patterns are all the same, and how you trade them should be the same as well. Know where your risk is. Know where you're wrong.
Who cares what the title is? We could give it our own title.
If you could understand the price action, it doesn't matter what asset you trade. You apply what you've learned to any asset you like in the world. Bitcoin, it doesn't matter. That's what the traders. I think that's the big sticking point for a lot of traders. They get too involved in an asset and what they think is going to happen. Don't. Just learn how to trade and then apply that to anything you like.
Even the VIX.
Yeah, and talk about the VIX, Dale. What's happening with the VIX?
Yeah, we closed over 21 yesterday. They're trying to take it down early, but that looks like a breakout to me.
Yeah.
And I guess next stops this line above it, about 26, and then I think it's like clear sailing that would take out this downtrend. And this actually measures to about 26.
So, you know, Dale, you know, while we're on the VIX, and we probably should discuss this. You know, Bran was asking, well, who's the new person on the team? We'll talk about that after the Canadian retail sales today. But and we'll bring this person in. But I want to mention really quick, we had a huge statement yesterday, or conversation with Fed Chair Powell. And he moved the market quite aggressively yesterday. So what do you I mean, you saw the price action, the market actually broke down, but Powell, in my view, was dovish. How did you read that, Dale? Were you listening in? Did you
no, I was just watching price action, and I assumed that he was saying that, you know, where inflation that there still might be more rate hikes to come, higher for longer. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But I didn't listen. What did he say, Blake, that makes you think that?
Well, I mean, it just seemed like he was extremely, you know, just going along the same lines that you know, we have to basically stop raising rates and keep rates. That's the messaging was, we're going to keep rates higher for longer. But you know, we're pretty much, you know, the work's being done by yields. And yeah, Ryan, we had to mute you because you were a little
sorry.
Your keyboard, you're going crazy.
You type very fast.
You do. I'm
amazing for two fingers.
The quick was the
That's
quick
what she said.
Look who made an appearance today.
Oh, wow.
Everybody's off his yacht and he came here today. Ooh.
Hello,
Oh my God.
everybody.
Did you pull the car underneath the porte cochere today? I mean, Stelios, good to see you.
One of the Greek sex maniacs showed up here today.
How is everybody?
Yeah, good to hear your voice, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, good to see you, Stel, or hear you anyway. Hey, no, I mean, that's how I read Fed Chair Powell. But you know, let's listen to what Kman had to say. Kman, what did you have to say about the Fed Chair? And Dale, I can take the charts from here if you want.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I think he covered absolutely every base. And as I said on the Flow Show, he seems to change tone like Ueda does, like one word per one word. So he did acknowledge that the market was doing part of their job, but on the other hand, still talking about the resilience of the economy, labor market, still leaving the door open for perhaps a bit of another hike. But it's good. They're adjusting towards data dependent, right? And I'm actually refusing to take a side whether he was hawkish or dovish. I think he's bang in the middle right now. It's like the metronome yesterday when you learn the piano. He swings to one side, then does a tick to the other side, and that's how he was talking yesterday. And completely, fully data dependent.
Well, you know, look at you. Look at you're using musician terminology, Kman. I love it.
Guys, if I may add something, I think Kman is absolutely right. The one thing that I found interesting, which was kind of different to everything going up to yesterday, was that he, without explicitly saying it, he acknowledged that they are looking at yields, and they are really looking at the levels of, you know, the yield curve and how that may affect the economy, which we know it does, you know, with the lagging effect. And he didn't say it explicitly, but we know that they're looking at yields. And so for me, the 10-year, you know, near 5% with overnight rate being just only above here is, you know, I can't understand it. I can't explain it. You know, logic says it should be lower, but you know, I think this is why the market kind of took him to be slightly on the dovish side yesterday. But I do agree with Kay. He gave something for both sides. Yes.
You know, it's interesting. I heard, and Kman, you just mentioned it, and I heard a lot of flack from different, you know, economists on CNBC and, you know, all the financial news networks about, you know, why is he so data dependent? It's so backward looking. You know, what, you know, by the time that the Fed's going to respond, it's going to be too late. And it's interesting, and it's interesting to see the market's response following yesterday. I mean, because we had equities sell off, we had gold rally, we have yields just took off again. The dollar's was kind of stagnant, but we got the euro, that's kind of pinned at the 106 level. So it was just some interesting price action. Hey, Ryan, what did you take away from yesterday's Powell, talk? I guess we can call it.
Yeah, he played both sides of the coin. There were some real subtleties in there. He gave a nod to the yields, said we are watching, we are attentive, I think was the same he said. So that's like a little nudge to say, you carry on what you're doing, but we're keeping an eye on it. He also said the Fed has slowed on rates to give policy time to work. He could have said the Fed have stopped on rates, but he kept the language in there that, we've slowed, we haven't stopped. So there were little subtleties on both sides. I think it's as I expected. I wrote just before he spoke going in, there's a reason probably yields have stopped at 5%. One of them being Powell just saying, our eyes are on you. So, it may not be such a blow through up through 5% if it goes. But also on the flip side, we've got to look and remember what happened last Friday, that we saw a lot of exiting of risk, shall we say. And it's potentially the same going to happen this weekend. The guys in the room posted about there's a meeting between Abbas and a few others somewhere, which may yield some risk on comments or not. But I think the market is likely to do the same thing and take some risk off the table again, and that might mean bonds go bid again, and we see yields fall down. So that I think is, though, I'm sorry, I hate to jump in here. I was going to say that I think is one of the big risks right now in the markets. I mean, I don't think there's been a time that the market has been more short treasuries. And rightfully so. We understand there's so much issuance coming out. I mean, globally, I put this chart in the ForexAnalytix chat room today, and this is a scary chart. I mean, you're not just looking at where in the hell is it? I was just thinking about it. Here it is. Like, you're looking the gilt market. I mean, this is when the sterling hit
110.
Yeah, we're parity, right? We didn't get how low did the pound go there?
108, I think. 108, 110. Didn't get to parity.
We went to we got really close. 102. So 103. Wow. But it is a kind of a global phenomenon. But you got everybody that's like just short bonds right now, and there's so much issuance, so everybody's just kind of riding that train into an absolute crap storm. So how do you guys feel about that? Let's start with Stelios, since he's here. Stel, how do you feel about the bond market? I mean, we've got here's the S&P almost at the 200-day moving average. We broke down 4,300 yesterday. We knew it was going to be a nice little elevator shaft when that happened, and it did. Just whoop, and we've stayed pressured since. But what do bond traders do here? And do bonds catch a bid now that the 5-year finally hit 5%, or a 10-year hit 5% today?
Well, with supply remaining high for the next few weeks in the US at least, it's going to be difficult to see any kind of meaningful bottom anytime soon. But by the way, you showed the 10-year gilt. The 30-year gilt is at the highest yield since 1998 today.
Wow.
Yeah. So with supply being this high, I think bonds are going to remain under pressure. But if you ask me what I think, my kind of longer term view is, I think these yields up here are ridiculously attractive, and I think after this last push is done, I think we're going to be seeing lower yields. Remember, CTAs are very, very, very short treasuries and bonds in general, and these accounts are massive, and when they start turning, they're like a big super tanker. They take like months to unwind. So I think the market's really one-sided. I wouldn't go against it right now unless your horizon is really far away, but I think these yields at these levels are very, very attractive.
Okay,
I can tell you, Blake.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Short, non-speculative shorts in the CFTC are currently 712,000. The low was May this year, when there were some 850,000 shorts. So yeah, that's the lowest or the biggest short since 2019-ish.
And as we go into an absolute crap storm into this weekend, with what things that could really unfold in the Middle East. So I don't know. I would be pretty hesitant up here, like with the 10-year, obviously with US Treasuries at where we're at right now. We got the 30 years above the 161% extension, 10 years right at the 161% extension. Those are golden fib levels. They would be more attractive to me if I was an institutional type of trader, thinking going into year end, going, yeah, I'm not so comfortable. Maybe I'm gonna take some off the table and just kind of park my money here. But what would that do? And let me ask Kman this, because we haven't seen, well, we have to an extent. The dollar yen has stayed, I would say it stayed perky, following, US yields for the most part. What if they turn? Do you think that the yen might catch a bid? Kman, what do you think?
Well, if yields turn.
Yeah, like let's say 10-year yields turn.
Yeah, but then just to counter some arguments here, we had the same narrative at 4%, 4.25%, 4.5% in the 10s, and we're at 5%. That's the first thing. There was, I think a couple of days ago, was the first anniversary of the great big recession call for 2023. We are end of October 2023, and we are still not there. So there's a difference between what a lot of people expect and what's really happening. And just wanted to highlight that for thing. I mean,
and can I jump in just say something really quick? I personally, I think the US 10-year is going, probably way through 5% at some point, but that doesn't mean that we're going to go up in one straight shot.
Yeah, but that is completely correct, because we had corrections on the way up from
right
back to 3.25, from 4.25 back to 3.75. That those were like hefty corrections, and certainly means a lot of money made or lost. But it's not only CTAs, and I agree. Once they start to turn, and I completely agree with Stelios, once they will start to turn, it's going to be a bloodbath the other way around. But the thing is, in the meantime, they are bailed out by the US Treasury, who is just supplying bonds, and that's we saw those reports there. Bank of America came out with a report earlier today. 36th week in a row where there is $5 billion inflow into treasuries. But the thing is, there's $5 trillion parked in money funds, in the RRPs, in all the reserves, and then you add the US Treasuries to that. We still have ways to go, I think. But I mean, that just for, I mean, the top, there will be a top, I mean, top callers in yields will get it right one day, and then there's a lot of I told you so's coming on.
right, exactly.
Yeah, we have to live. And that's the thing that I've been saying and been hammering on since the start of this pandemic as well. We still have to live in the day-to-day stuff. Okay, not specifically day-to-day, but week-to-week or things like that. Because at the end of October, we are again going to hear from the US Treasury, because they have to replenish the TGA and all that kind of stuff. They are fueling the move in a way, and for as long as Powell keeps his QT buzzing in the background, I have really a tough time to see how those yields are going to come down for longer, unless of course the big dominoes are falling. The labor market, housing is already showing a bit of red flags or orange flags, but then but the rest is not, and that's, I think the day will come when the thing turns around, and then you're going to have all those money funds, all those RRP, all those reserves still sitting there, and this liquidity. They are going to go massively to the auctions, and that's the day everything will turn. And then they will force the CTAs to turn around. But until then, I mean, I find it very, very hard to counter trade what's going on right now. And don't forget that in the process, we are uninverting the whole curve. Remember a year ago when, or less, when the 210s were like more than 100 BPs negative, and everybody was shouting, this is the recession call, right? We are nearly back. We are only 17 BPs negative right now. We are nearly back to an inversion. Now, it depends how it's going to steepen, bear or bull or whatever. But that usually is not a sign for the dollar to be capped either. If your curve is steepening, and again, with some caveats, but if your curve is steepening, that usually is not bearish dollars either, you know.
By the way, the dollar is absolutely taking off. We just had the euro just take a 30 pip dump from the 106 level. I'm so irritated. I was telling everybody in our chat room, I'm like, I had offers just above 106 that just did not get triggered, and we just whoop. But it's across the board. We're seeing the dollar MEX hit new highs. US dollar Norwegian krona is approaching pretty key resistance here. You got the sterling just rolled over really fast. I don't know, dude. I miss a headline.
I don't know. Yields, those 10s are 4.99. They're having another go.
So yields are, oh wow, yeah, we are having another go at the 5% level, which we did tag this morning. Anyway, interesting stuff, guys. I want to just a couple other things that just caught my attention. You know, we do have the S&P nearing the 200 DMA. Gold is rolling over, and Bitcoin is at 30,000. So I find that a little interesting that gold's rolling over, and you can see gold pulling back a little bit after we hit the 127% extension. That was our target. You can see I had it in black right here from yesterday. That was the near-term target after surging through the 618, hit the 127% extension. A little bit of a pullback. I wouldn't, lean into that. I don't think.
Silver double top, Blake.
You got okay. We got well, let's take silver right here. A little bit of double top ahead of the 618. Still in an ascending channel. I don't think I'd fade that either. But Bitcoin, reaching for 30,000. So
wow.
Yeah, I know. Like look at the safe haven play.
Gold is actually nearly tagged the July high there, or is it the June high of this year, and that's where it stopped as well. And well played, Ryan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Well, there you go. And hey, so really quick, we got Canadian retail sales coming up in just a few, literally just a couple of minutes. I did want to cover that, but Ryan, Kman, since you guys were on the Flow Show this morning, and listen, for all of you that are listening in right now, if you're not listening into the Flow Show during European hours, listening to Kman and Ryan, make sure you jump over here, and you can catch the Flow Show on YouTube. You can catch us on TradingView on the streams. You can catch us but the way to interact with the guys and ask them questions, you have to go through this link here. So you're in through Zoom. So make sure that you do that. Ryan, what are your thoughts about retail sales as we head into it right now?
Yeah, I mean, it might be a bit of a sideshow after the inflation data. Pretty much knocked a lot of rate hike expectations out of the market. The PPI data yesterday was a bit soft as well. So yeah, I think potentially if it's if the numbers are poor, we're going to see dollar CAD moving higher. If they're really strong, that might be a dip in something like the loonie to look at. If you get
it's a big resistance up here, right? I mean, huge. Now at this 137.50, it's a big channel resistance. It's been capping us for a long time.
And a market chart forever.
Okay, do you have any last minute thoughts on the retail sales here?
No, not really. It's a bit of a flip the coin to me. But I agree with Ryan. CPI must have been more important. And we're turning around the 137, right? So if you look at the dollar CAD, it does seem to want to make a decision sooner or later around this 137. Let's put it that way. Whether it's going to stay above or fail, at one stage.
Yeah, it's kind of got a lot of crosswinds right now with crude oil. Obviously, with the risks that are associated with the energy markets. Globally, it's kept the dollar CAD from really breaking out towards 140. Flip side is, as Ryan pointed out, that inflation data. So we have that retail sales coming in just a few seconds. Here we go.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Little
small beat of expectations, but still a negative. 0.1 versus 0.3 expected. Ex autos, it was up 0.1 versus flat expected. Move along.
Yeah. I guess it'll probably keep us from testing 137.50, I guess, today. And if anybody had the dreams of 137.50 being broken, it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. All right. Well, hey guys, I want to first of all thank you all for being here every day, especially Kman, Ryan, and Dale. You guys, being here in the mornings with you for me is a pleasure, and it's always an honor. And it's so great to get caught up, being here in North America, listening to you guys that have been in front of your computers for like the last, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, and kind of getting up to speed. It's one of the benefits of having, a team that's global. And Stelios, it's nice to hear your voice. I know it takes a lot to jump off the yacht to get here, but it's nice to have you here when you're here. And Grega Horvat is here too. Good morning, Grega.
Hey man, how are you?
Hey, Grega, before I make an introduction to our new ForexAnalytix team member, can you guys see if I'm on video? I can't see myself on video. Oh, I guess I can. Can you guys see me? All right. Yeah. So good morning. So look, I even did my hair today. I'm just kidding. It's short, so I didn't have to do anything.
Like Kim. You mean like Kim yesterday?
It was just like, I think I got a little bedhead, but I'm not 100% too sure. But Grega, it's nice to have you here. Any comments about the market before we introduce our new team member?
Actually, I like the discussion about the bonds, as you said earlier, and yields are pretty high. I just posted in our chat room here in F.A.C.E that I see a very big 5 waves down, and I think that on bonds we can be approaching some very extreme levels. So
are you looking at the 10-year or the 30?
10-year.
10-year. Okay, yes. So you should probably have your count right here.
Yeah, because I also published it 5 minutes back.
Oh, okay. That one.
These are yields, yes.
Okay.
I have also notes there as well, monthly or daily. So here we have these 5 waves down, and I think that we are approaching some very big levels now. Also open monthly, please.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Monthly, if you can open.
Oh yeah, sure thing. Let me get over there.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the better view. So I think that we are in a very late stages of this movement, and I think that if this market is about to turn around, I just assume that we should focus on metals, which could, by the way, could explode with gold targeting new all-time highs, in my opinion.
So it's going to push metals to new highs? Really? Okay. All right. So
when this market turns around, yes.
Okay.
Because I think that the US yields could come to the downside, obviously, from 5%. And of course, at the same time, gold could continue much higher.
All right. So I'm going to pull up your gold charts that you have here. Which one did you want me to bring up?
4 hour, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we have a pretty nice impulse to the upside. We are obviously at very interesting resistance here, nearing 2000. So maybe watching for a pullback. I think that 1950, 1940 is the interesting area for the next push higher.
Wow. All right. Well, hey, I think a lot of people would like to see that. What do you think about that, Dale?
It's viable. I mean, this wave took me by surprise. So, I was looking for maybe something a little more deeper, maybe back to Grega's 4, which wouldn't change account, 1900.
Yeah, that's definitely very attractive.
Yeah. So, and I don't think silver has a shot to retest a full-blown retest, I think. So I saw Grega's work on LinkedIn, and you're calling that a huge triangle, right, Grega?
Yeah, on silver, yes.
Yeah, so he's not looking for new lows, but buying pullbacks in silver is also something that Grega likes. Maybe we did bottom on both of these. The dollar's doesn't have that much juice left in it, 108, 109. So I asked myself if metals could perform with the dollar being at least firm and at times going up. That's a headwind normally for silver. What's going to happen when we peak in the dollar and yields peak? So, I understand what Greg's narrative. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is your wave count, your current wave count in on a monthly basis in the dollar. So even if we get a little bit, more of a rally here in the dollar, you still view that we could head lower longer term.
Yeah.
All right. Really, really interesting views. And guys, just remember to get Grega's views, you can, just click on Elliott Wave over here, and we have, 30 instruments where you can cover it and get that analysis as well. So great stuff, Grega. Appreciate it. I'm gonna talk about like our new team member who is I'm gonna introduce him right now. His name's Nick, and one of the reasons why I'm so excited to bring Nick on is Nick is going to further extend our coverage. As I was just mentioning a little bit earlier, one of the benefits of our ForexAnalytix team is being global. You got Stelios, Grega, Ryan, Kman, Steve, on different parts of the world, and we are pretty. I want to say currency and industry and indice and precious metal, kind of like the big markets. We cover most of them and really currency centric. But I want to introduce our new team member, Nick Groves, who is going to be joining us as of today, and he's going to be helping us extend our coverage into more of the indices and into individual stock names in the months ahead. So Nick, if you're here, you can unmute your mic. How are you?
Hey there, Blake. How's it going?
Good. And it's good to have you. And you can turn on your video if you want. But Nick,
I cannot start the video because the host has stopped it.
Oh, maybe Steve can adjust that here and allow you to do it. So first of all, if you guys don't know who Nick is, there you are.
How's it going, guys?
Nick has been in our community for years, and he's been a staple in our chat rooms for a long time, posting charts throughout the course of the day. I think he spends almost as much time in front of the computer as the rest of us, and if not more. And he's constantly throwing ideas out there, helping other traders out there. And he's been doing it for years. And so Nick is, going to be a welcome addition to our team because he is, proficient not only in currencies and currency futures, but also in individual stock names. And he's got some crypto background. So, Nick, I want to introduce you. Why don't you talk a little bit about yourself and tell us what your experiences have been, at least with us. Well, how you started, what you're trading, how you trade, and your experiences in our community for the last, 4 years?
Yeah, I'll try and keep it simple, but I might rant a little bit. So I was born in Florida, raised in Chicago. You guys might know Chicago's a pretty big hub, or at least still is, for trading. So I grew up seeing a lot of the traders get off the train and whatnot, and was always quite curious. Pretty active in sports growing up, kind of wanted to play in college, but decided to keep my head safe. And ended up moving down back to Florida and started getting into trading. So I started out in cryptocurrency arbitrage. We were trying to I work with an individual mainly, it's a company, but we were trying to work with trading technologies out of Chicago to get an auto spreader going on some crypto exchanges overseas. We were plugged into about 7 different exchanges. And really, we just had too much size at the time. We were one of the few institutions that were trying to, wiggle into this market. And we didn't lose money. We didn't really make money. So after that, I decided to get into discretionary trading, and I started reading all the books, trading for a living, Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, all that good stuff. And I think I watched just about every Chat with Traders podcast, trying to get my hands on this market and wrap my head around it. And that's actually how I found Blake, because he was interviewed on there. I started off with a demo account for a couple months, not too long, and then immediately reached out to my boss and tried to get some funding. So started with a small account. First year, like most traders, drew it down a bit, but I know most people blow up 1 to 3 accounts the first year, so I felt kind of lucky that I didn't do that. And yeah, that next year, I've just been profitable since. So I started back in 2019. Been a fun journey, that's for sure. I'm more of a swing trader, so I hold things anywhere from 2 days to, if I'm lucky, 4 to 5 weeks. Sometimes it's 1 day if I'm not liking it, or it depends on the environment, right? So if we're in a trending market, I'll try and ride it. But just like this last week, but prior to Thursday, we were just in a range. Not much of a swing trader's paradise. It's more of a hair pulling paradise.
Right.
So yeah, but I focus mainly on the S&P. That's my favorite contract to trade. But in order to trade that, I have to look at the Magnificent Seven. There's 7 stocks that account for 28% of the S&P. If you take those 7 stocks away, I think the S&P is almost negative on the year. So those are huge drivers in the market, and we saw them perk up because of what the Fed did in 2021, and we're about to see how they react moving forward. I think it's going to be really important to hone in on that. So I think coming into the team, I'm going to try to bring those Mag 7s to everyone's eyes. You guys might be looking at the dollar pairs, which I do as well. I trade the euro, cable, and the Aussie dollar. And but we all know that they're intertwined. So I look at everything between obviously equities, but bonds, gold, copper, silver, really anything I can get my hands on. And I use charting and data and statistics to get my technicals in line, and then I pick out the fundamentals. I think it's really important to try and stay on top of that with what the Fed's doing, the ECB, RBA. So I try to get as much knowledge as I can, find points of confluence, and take my best educated guess.
Nick, one of the things I admire about you, and I've told mutual friends over the years, and I'm sure I'd like to get some input from our team members here. Dale, Ryan, Kman, if he's still logged in, like some of it, when I've talked about you over the years, and I've talked to even my partners, Stelios and Steve, about you specifically, and Ryan in our chat rooms over the years, I'm like, Nick gets it. There are people that you come across that actually just, you can see it registers and it clicks, sometimes faster than others. Dale, you've probably had that experience over the years, because you've been in the markets for a long time. You worked with a lot of people. There are certain people that you come across that just get it and understand the markets and are proficient at it. So that's kind of how I view you, Nick. I've viewed you ever since you came in our community, which you've been in our community as a community member of ForexAnalytix for how many years?
Probably 3, maybe more. But I got in that chat room, and really the cool thing about this experience is that I've been leaning on you mentors for a long time, and I'm really a byproduct of this. So, for anyone out there who's starting out in trading, I got in that, got with the mentors, asked as many questions as I possibly could. I think I had to Google what the ECB was when I first started. I was like, is that a ticker? But I asked tons of questions, and I definitely got thrown on my back many times. I'll never forget with the Russia-Ukraine situation, that market fell 4% one day and rallied back to close positive. I almost threw up because I was still learning a bit. I was starting to, get my feet in and kind of understand it well, but that was a situation that I could have never imagined. And I think it kind of shows you how to really tighten your risk, which is huge. I've kind of tried to lean on some discipline, but you know, discipline's a perishable skill, so you got to practice it every day, and the markets are a good spot.
Well, I want to welcome you, and you're really welcome addition to the team. I really, we're gonna really be looking at, more markets than just, currencies and indices and everything that we really focus on now. But it's going to be really nice to have you here. Let's hear from Dale, our coach, our coach du jour. Dale, did you have any questions for Nick or any comments?
It looks like Nick took the right route to become a trader and avoided any real damaging things that a lot of people could run into. And does TGIF to you, Nick, mean thank God I found ForexAnalytix?
Yeah, it's definitely helped me quite a bit.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'm excited to be here, and honestly flattered to join the team. Turn 27 next month, so I feel like it's a good age to start kicking. And you guys are helping me out with that.
All right. Well, my hopes for you as your career flourishes here, and welcome. And you can tell after hearing someone for about 5 minutes, I can, like Blake was talking about, when someone knows. So glad to have you. If I could help, ping me, ask me. Good luck.
Thank you. And I've been watching your VIX chart this past week. There's actually I can't believe I'm throwing this out there, but there's actually an inverted head and shoulder pattern on that VIX right now. It's pointing towards 24 if you go on the 1 hour chart.
Yeah. I have a trend line up there. So you're good at intelligence gathering. That's important. It's been important for me. One of the reasons I've done as many interviews as I have, because it helps you grow if you keep an open mind to other people's work. Yeah,
that's really why I reached out, because I thought, back in the day, obviously I wasn't born, but you have offices, there might be a firm right down the street, but everybody probably gets lunch together and networks and whatnot. These days, everyone's at home behind a screen. And I really wanted to get myself out there and network, and that's kind of how I connected myself in this spot, because I just want to grow in the community.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, grow like a mushroom.
Right. And matter of fact, your handle is grasshopper in our chat room. I always found fascinating when you first joined us. Tell us a little bit why you chose grasshopper.
I chose grasshopper, one, because I wanted everyone to know that I didn't know anything. 2, because I still don't know anything. I just have to keep well read. I'm always going to be a grasshopper to sensei the market. It's a forever learning experience. You never know what's coming, and you just have to stay on your toes. I don't consider myself the smartest guy in the world. I just try to stay well read.
And I think that's it's important to stay humble. I've always come with the approach of I'm not some Ivy League college graduate finance wizard. Matter of fact, I didn't even finish college. I left college to get my Series 7, and you can do it. It takes a lot of diligence, and it takes a lot of as Dale puts it, intelligence gathering. And a lot of research and a lot of time in front of the screens. And Nick, I think you've done a great job. And we're really happy to have you here. Stelios, did you want to say a few things?
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, welcome. It's really nice to have you in the team. And what I like is that we've all been very focused on currencies mostly, so it's good to bring somebody in who can cover more bases. So that's going to be a benefit for everybody, myself included. Everybody, not just our clients, but our team as well. And it's also nice to bring in somebody who's young. So I'm way past 50 and, set in my ways. I don't understand cryptos, don't talk to me about that. Well, it's good to have somebody who's younger and who's who's has energy and lots of potential. So very, very nice to have you, Nick.
Thanks, Stelios.
You know what the cool thing
look
is?
pretty young.
Yeah, the cool thing is that he came from our stable, and we're putting him out on the racetrack after he trained with us for 2-3 years. So I mean, I think that's also very, something to be proud of. And I'm humbled too, Blake. In fact, I'd like to announce to the whole world with the greatest pride how humble I've become.
You know, we have
I get it.
That actually was pretty funny. It took me a second, but yeah, that was actually pretty funny.
TikTok.
So Ryan, you've had a lot of interactions with Nick over the years. Having him here, just like in our community, what are your thoughts about Nick? And be nice.
Of course, I'm going to be nice. He's better looking than you, Blake. So that's the first thing. Definite competition for Grega on the look stake. But yeah, Nick's been a great addition, and it's good to see someone who comes in and takes on board, what's being taught in the chat room and gives it back as well. That's a very important trait as well. To go from being to being a teacher. And giving things back and giving you advice back, and that sort of thing. So yeah, he's been here, just a bit longer than I have, but just seeing that it's awesome and an awesome member to add to the team, and we go from strength to strength. Yeah,
and Nick, hey, people probably want to hear a little or see a little bit of your technical prowess. Is there anything that you wanted to show the team or everybody here listening what you're looking at?
Yeah, let me get out of my broker really quick.
Yeah, you should minimize that one.
Yeah.
And one of the things I have to, one of the things that kind of put me over the edge about Nick, and I'm gonna say this. I'll just say this. Well, there's a few things, but Nick, you can go ahead and pull up your charts while I'm talking about you a little bit. He just completed a triathlon or marathon. Triathlon.
It was a triathlon.
Triathlon.
Yeah. I kept telling everyone I just didn't want to come in last.
Yeah.
I had to be one guy.
Takes a lot of discipline to do that. And I watch him, go to the gym every day. He takes really good care of himself. He buckles down, he digs into the charts. And it takes a lot of discipline to do that. And to be a trader and to be proficient in the markets, it takes a lot of discipline. And I can appreciate that as and I can. I'm somebody that is in the gym, 4 days a week at least, and and I try to take care of myself from a personal health standpoint, also for a mental standpoint. I see Nick exhibits a lot of the same characteristics, being an athlete in college and everything else. So Nick, go ahead, take it away. What do you got here?
I'm a little put on the spot, but I'll try and do my best. So this is a 1 hour chart of the ES futures. It'll map the same as the S&P. Also in the chat room, I primarily look at ES, but I will always try and post the S&P, just keep the numbers okay for everyone. So this is this trend line right here. I'm not too sure how valuable this bottom part of the channel is, but we've had a lot of touches here. As you can see, this is the breakout. And then if you zoom in a little bit, you can see right here, this wick came back, immediately bounced from there, bounced from here. And you can tell that it's kind of just been hovering along this line. We broke down yesterday, and now I imagine that this is going to act as, resistance. I'm short right now. I started out trying to get short around 4,400, and then yesterday the Fed got me a little bit nervous as I was pressing, and I was full size, so I took it off and then got back in. I'm short from around 44.55 or 43.55. I like the trade. I think last Friday we saw a sell-off towards the close. That was due to geopolitical risk, and then we saw on Monday that unwinding of the hedging. So I think that we might see something similar today. We could see the market continue to fall. The issue is that, if you take a look at this longer dated chart on the S&P, we're really at some pretty decent support. you just take a look right here. You know, that we could be putting in a higher low. So it's something to watch for, but this is the 2023 high. We've had 3 lower highs. If we break down from here, you know, there's a lot of open room. But just to kind of hammer home on some of the FANG stocks that I was talking about.
Can you give us a target, Nick? If we break down, what would you be looking for?
See, I've been thinking about that a lot. I took a trade pretty much from, you know, mid-September. I took it all the way down to when S&P got to 4240, and I wasn't sure if we were going to get to 4200. I've been traveling a bit. I had a wedding to go to, so I was a little bit away when we hit the 4200 level. But I think if we break 4200, because 4200 has really been that bull bear line for me. I think that there was a lot of funds that probably had some gunpowder coming in there. But right now we're pretty darn close, and with this geopolitical risk, who knows if we wipe it out? I mean, I think we could. Well, let's just take a look at the fibs.
And, you know, I'm gonna while you're drawing all this, and one of the things that's great about Nick, and I've been watching him, like I said, for years, watching him in our chat rooms. He's in the trades room. He's like, he posts every position he's in, and he's not trading peanuts. He's trading institutional size money. So, you know, he's in there going, okay, look, I'm taking on a little bit too much risk at this point. I'm going to whittle it down. And, you know, it's really, it's been a real pleasure to watch. And I think you've been a great guide for a lot of traders.
Thanks.
So
I try. You know, I would say the 50%, we've got some touches here, but the 618 looks more strong with really just bounce here, bounce here. We have a bounce back here. It looks a lot stronger. I'm going to have to run some analysis and see what Jim Welsh has to say today. I'm addicted to that guy.
Who's that?
Yeah. Hey, Dale, you know, this is one of Jim's like literally biggest fans. He would reach out to me and say, I can't believe you missed an interview with Jim. He's like my grandpa that I really love, you know, that like,
I got to tell Jim that he's a grandpa. Well, he is a grandpa. Nick, by the way, the 200-week moving average comes in around your 61.8.
Yeah, I think that's a good level.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see. But
yeah, he knows Blake. Good hire.
I do like this chart in NVIDIA. It's forming a head and shoulders formation.
I already knew that, man.
I also love this gap down here. It seems like a great target.
Yeah.
I think that's a good level. And then I was looking at Tesla. Tesla recently broke this trend line that's held the entire year. So this is January, December, January, beginning of the year, just broke down. I think the 50% retracement comes in at around 200, which I think is actually, you know, I like the round number. It takes out this low. We'll have to see where it goes from there, but there's also some decent, you know, support touches around here around the low 200s. So we'll have to see if it gets there. I've been also taking a close look at Google. 2 hour.
Yeah.
So Google broke out of this this channel, broke down. It back tested it here and back tested it here. If we take out this level right here, 136, I think we could. Let's see here. I think if you draw this to here and take this fib retracement up from here to here. Let's see here. Yeah. So that comes close to that 50% retracement at 134. I think that's a decent level if this breaks. With where the yields are running, I was expecting 5%, but now I'm wondering if we just blow right through it. I know we hit it, but I'm wondering if we kind of really shake some people out. And we know that this rally in tech with the Mag 7, it was all driven by, you know, lowering yields and all that stuff.
So how many of the Mag 7 are on their way for a funeral on Boot Hill, Nick?
Yeah, that's $1 million question, right? We can work on that this weekend and get some money together and retire.
All right.
But I'm not too sure really. I mean, they're so relentless, and I have so many people just that I know personally asking me, where I should put my money, and I don't like to give that kind of advice, but what I tell them is look, we're hitting levels not seen since 08, 07, the dot-com bubble, the 80s inflation. We're not that far from all-time highs. I mean, we're relatively speaking, over the long haul. And I just think that right now cost averaging doesn't look like the greatest idea, but the consumer, and we can tell the US consumer has been relentless. I don't know what's stopping them. So we're going to have to see where and if we break and try to figure out when. But it's tricky times right now, but that's the fun part about, trying to get in the community. You're going to need it. And especially with this wartime, that was a time where I got burned. I managed to claw my way back out of it. But, you got to expect the unexpected right now and really lean on the people that can help.
And Dale, we've been around long enough to know that and I remember one of and I've explained this before. When I've gotten to trade, larger amounts of institutional capital, the first thing that people look at is, look, you're going to take losses, but how do you bounce back from that? And that's going to be the most important thing, is because we all take losses. Sometimes we get ourselves in a pickle, but how do you get yourself out of the pickle? And if you can, that's the most important thing. So let's take step number one, right? Try not to get in a pickle, but right. So
yeah, you can't turn a pickle back into a cucumber.
Hey, there you go, Dale. I swear, I've never met anybody that has more sayings than you ever.
And I've made every one of them up.
I swear.
I'm kidding.
All right, Nick. So last chart. So
this is the last chart. I just want to show Dale. This is what I've been looking at this past week, is this inverted head and shoulder. I think it points towards 24. Yeah. So that's all I got for today. And next time, if I prep a little better, I might have more for everybody. But really, we all look at the same things. That's kind of why I wanted to work together, because I'm looking at the same dollar index euro chart as you guys. So.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're gonna be finding a good place and a good nestling spot for you, Nick. I know he's gonna start off with making appearances on F.A.C.E when he sees good opportunities, kind of like when Grega jumps in. He's like, hey man, he'll ping us and say, I got to talk about the dollar, and so let me on. And Nick is going to be the same way. If he sees something, he's going to be jumping on and letting us know what he's seeing. And also we're going to be bringing him into the daily roundup to start, which will be, the show that I do with Polly and myself. Nick's going to be joining us there every day. So that's inside the ForexAnalytix community. And then after that, we'll be eventually finding a morning show time for us to be together to talk about what's moving in the equity markets moving forward. So Nick, I want to say welcome to the team. And if you guys want to be part of the ForexAnalytix community, the pricing discounts go away today or this weekend. I forget, it's either today or this weekend. Today's the 20th. I think it's today. So make sure you take advantage of it, because you won't see those prices again for months and months and months. Nick, welcome to the team. Really glad to have you here, and all of your years of hard work in our community. We take notice, and we're so happy to have you here with us. So
yeah, I'm just happy I'm really just looking to work together. And I don't think I know too much yet, so I'm taking the approach that let's just work together and see what we can see where we can get.
All right. Well, Dale, I want to thank you for hosting us and being around all day today, and guiding us each and every day throughout the course of the weeks on end and years on end. So thank you.
What a team. Next man up. And I always wanted to work with Grasshopper from watching the television show Kung Fu, David Carradine. So Nick, that's your.
Nick,
it could be
Nick
your
might not
handle.
remember that one.
Well, it's on. You could look it up on YouTube and check out David Carradine as Grasshopper, and maybe you'll change your handle to Kung Fu Trading.
Let's
So,
do it.
All right, go from Grasshopper to Kung Fu Trading. And Team Blake, thanks so much. You know, great looks all week. Ryan, same thing, nice trading and you know, talking about the discipline of knowing your levels and how that gives you comfort in trading. And Kman, I learned about the inner workings and the plumbing of this business every time you talk. So Grega, you know how I feel. You're the wizard of waves. So Dream Team, have a great weekend. And everyone else, don't forget to don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And we're going to lay it on the court for you again next week. Enjoy just one thing on this war. One thing on this war. If you're hoping that it's going to stay constrained to Israel and Gaza, there are already people taking pot shots at U.S. bases over there, missiles being launched from Sudan. Just, you know, I hope it stops, but it looks like it's going regional to me. So
Let's pray for peace.
Yeah, yeah. Let's pray for peace and prepare. What they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right, Blake? So
100%.
you know, just get ready and protect your capital in this environment. And we'll see everyone Monday. So thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you, Dale.
All right. See you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Take your mind off things. Should be some good sports on. All right. Adios.
Cheers, guys.
See you guys.